Fernando, what would worry you more? A mixer that suddenly stops or a mixer that keeps running while the batch is quietly going wrong?
I would say the second one. Of course, you don't want to end up in the situation that you think that things are going the right direction, but they're actually not.
So the dangerous moment is not always the breakdown.
No, it's actually when the process continues, but you're doing the wrong thing.
Welcome back to Fact Over Fiction. Today we are talking about the human side of bakery mixing. How operators know when the process is stable and when it starts to drift. Fernando, before we start to go into the process, give us your connection to mixing applications.
Well, today I work as a global key account manager for dry products division in ABB. But I had also the opportunity to start my career in the field, doing some commissioning work, doing some engineering, and helping in different startups. So that's where I got to play a little bit with this mixing application just after finishing my school.
So from that field experience, what did you learn to look for first? The product or the way the process behaves?
Well, of course, you need to understand the product, but being in the field and being close to the operators, maintenance teams, plant management and operations gives you a better understanding on how these products are then running together as a whole in a system. So you start looking at different things, not only about speed and torque, which would be, let's say, main characteristics, but then you start looking at how the system is interacting with other applications and what are, let's say, the parameters that start, let's say, misbehaving when there's a problem in the application.
So let's make that practical. What does a good mixing run feels like?
I would say good mixing is a smooth mixing. So when all the parameters are, let's say, within the limits, vibration, torque, speed, and normally this is also translated into sound. So basically, I would call it smooth mixing is good mixing.
So they are watching, but maybe not chasing.
That's right. So operators feel confident and they're not struggling or fighting with the machine.
And on the contrary, then what does a bad one feels like?
When all the parameters go out of place and then you're not actually producing, you're actually solving an issue or having a production stop. And this is where we don't want to end up.
Let's define this simply. What is a mixing drift?
A mixing drift, let's call it like it's not actually when the mixing stops, but when the mixing, let's say, behavior is not within the expectations of the recipe or expectations on the process. So this could be changes in temperature, changes in viscosity, changes in the amount of air that is inside the mixing formula. So I would say that's where a process starts to drift.
So same recipe, but different behavior.
That's right.
What are the first signs that the operators should not ignore?
I would say the first is the sound. So when you're mixing smoothly, there's no funny noises or no funny sounds. So if a batch or a process, like mixing process, are going on the right direction, experienced operators know how the sound is like.
So the sound can change before the dough starts to look wrong.
Yes, exactly. So there could be a problem in the tooling, there could be a problem in the process, there could be a problem in the temperature, and of course the sound changes.
And what else?
I would say the second is the torque profile or the load profile. So experienced operators, they also know how to translate these load profiles into the process or the recipe that is being mixed. This also can translate, of course, on sound again if there's some issue with the torque, but also in some vibration issues during the mixing process.
So it's not just one single value.
No, it's a mix of things that need to be considered.
So what happens if the team is missing those early signs?
So the process can drift and start going in the wrong direction. Could be more bubbles, could be different temperatures. And of course, the output is not what it's expected. So again, this could translate into waste, a loss of production, and not meeting the quality expectation.
So the signal appears early, but the damage shows up later.
Yeah, that's right. If you're not mixing within the right limits, you can have some issues later on with the formula you are mixing. This could be on the freezing side, cooling, forming, baking, or even packaging.
Let's move over then to fact or fiction. So if mixing is not going well, the easiest solution is always to mix faster.
That's fiction, and mixing faster could cause, let's say, more problems than solving them. So it could cause excess heat, so different temperatures or higher temperatures. It could cause some bubbles or different amounts of air required, and basically you are out of the profile.
What do you mean by profile?
So mixing is not just movement, it is control movement. So basically you need to follow certain speeds, certain torque profiles, certain recipes within every formula you're mixing.
So the goal is not maximum speed.
No, it's maximum repeatability.
Give us a real example. When did mixing stability become a serious challenge?
In one of the projects I was involved in the commissioning phase, we were not following the right profiles. So we had some issues with the output product. And this resulted in almost 20 tons of waste of flour. We were mixing flour back then, and it was related because of the fine tuning of the application.
Mm-hmm. And what was the first signal?
Well, there were some changes in the temperature, and of course the torque profiles were not the ones that we were supposed to follow. And then we realized that there was some problem actually in the drive's configuration. So this is also very sensitive, let's say, application. So this needs to be done in the right direction from the first time.
So what did you do about it?
We did some fine tuning in the speed and inertia loops of the drive system, and that's how we managed, let's say, to stabilize the application and then starting running smoothly.
So the lesson was?
Very sensitive application, and very minimal changes can have an effect on the output.
So where does the drive's control makes the difference?
Well, it gives you the possibility of running at the right torque. So for example, we're able to react on a millisecond, let's say, time frame with the torque changes and continue mixing at the right speed. So I think this is one of the most critical part.
So the drive is not just there to run the motor.
No, it also gives a lot of benefits, right? And it also helps us keep in line with all these safety requirements when it comes to functional safety, application safety, and food safety.
What is really at stake when the mixing is unstable?
Of course, process efficiency, quality, and waste. So, of course, these are critical parameters. But then also the operator's confidence. So instead of chasing a problem all the time, they can actually focus on where they actually need to.
So one message for plant teams and operators?
So basically, don't wait again until you start seeing alarms. Try to be reactive and proactive. Key topic, as we discussed, is the commissioning part of things. So do the things right the first time, and this will help you with a lot of headaches during the production.
Thanks, Fernando. That is fact over fiction.